Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the FBL-Zone. I am Dominic, and today I am joined by two amazing chapter officers, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Sheil and I go to Denmark High School, which is in Forsyth County in Region 12.
My name is Christy, Eapen, and I also go to Denmark High School.
So just to start off to break the ice, tell us about how your holidays have been going as it's been the holiday season and it's just been just such a nice break from school.
All right, so I'll start off. I've been spending the holidays a lot with my family, and I've been traveling to nearby states like Alabama and getting to know like the local people there because I have a lot of family and friends in the nearby states. And yeah, instead of traveling as much, I'm spending a lot of time with my family before I leave for college. So that's how my break's been going.
Yeah, me too. Basically, I spent a lot of time with my cousins who live in New Jersey. We went on a couple of trips to Pennsylvania from New Jersey. So it was a lot of fun. We went to New York City one day, so I just did a lot of trips with my cousins. So that's how I've been doing so far.
That's really nice that like y'all have been traveling a lot around the holidays. Chrissy, did you go to like in Alabama? Did you really go to like major cities? Or did you go to like small towns?
Yeah, it was very small and local. I mean, I did stop by Birmingham on the way there just to explore the city and stuff like that. But the places I went were a lot more local and community based. Yeah.
And Sheil, how was New York City?
Yeah, I like New York City a lot. It was really cool. We went to the Museum of Modern Art, and I spent a lot of time in there because I really like looking at a lot of the interesting things there. They have they have the original Starry Night there. That's probably my favorite thing. Yeah.
That's really cool. So moving on to our set of questions. First, describe how long you've participated in FBLA, your accomplishments, and just your FBLA journey in general.
Okay, I guess I'll go start. So I joined FBLA in middle school, but when I was a middle school member, our chapter wasn't really super big into doing a lot of stuff, so I was not as active as I am in high school. But I joined FBLA actually as a virtual member in my freshman year, and that's really when I started participating. And every year since then, I've made it to NLC. Hopefully, I'll make it again this year. Had a lot of fun in FBLA, and I think the most important takeaway that I've had from FBLA is that it's built my speaking skills a lot. So especially coming into high school, I was a lot more of a shyer kid. I was afraid to raise my hand in class. And FBLA made me a much more confident speaker, knowing what to say, even if you don't have it planned out. So that's what I think I got. That's where my FBLA journey has taken me to today. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been in FBLA since middle school, 7th grade specifically. And so I've been in FBLA for quite a bit. This is my 7th year now. And my FBLA journey has been a long one, I think. I've been competing since middle school too, so I was always involved, even when I was in middle school. And I think what FBLA has taught me most importantly is just my leadership potential. When I was in middle school, I was like, 12, 13. I didn't really recognize my potential or saw myself as like a businesswoman or like a career woman in any sense. Like I just thought I was a kid. And so it was FBLA that kind of gave birth to that ambitious businesswoman and kind of like realized the potential I had within myself, that I could, place in these competitions, that I could become an officer and like make an impact within an organization. So FBLA really instilled that leadership potential within me. And as far as accomplishments go, I've also been to NLC multiple times. My most recent accomplishment was placing first in client service this past fall leadership conference. But yeah.
Congratulations on that. My advisor tried to get me to do client service, and I like watched a couple of videos back from like previous NLCs, and
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like that event low-key freaks me out because it's just like a lot of the questions just like so on the spot and like impromptu, so like that's a really I can definitely like relate to what like both of y'all are saying, like especially like from being a middle school member. whenever I joined back in 6th grade, I really didn't know what my leadership potential was until after I joined FBLA. And it wasn't really until 9th grade year where I kind of broke from that inner shell that I had and really started to grow my public speaking skills. So it's really nice to hear like from both of you like how FBLA has helped you grow and tap into your business and leadership potential. So that's like that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next question. Last year Denmark FBLA was chapter of the year. Congratulations for that. And obviously y'all have a really big chapter. I saw some of your chapter photos, like my chapter could never. But how is it like managing a large chapter of like yours and making sure that you know members are being included and just managing your chapter's growth and how it functions?
Yeah, so we do have a really large chapter. Last year we hit 400, and with a large chapter comes a very supportive environment. So because we have so many ambitious kids, we also, in addition to that, we also have a lot of supportive and caring advisors. Our officer team is also relatively large compared to other chapters. So even though we do have a lot of members, we have a very large and hardworking officer team and advisors working to make sure that our members gain the most out of FBLA and truly instill those leadership and business skills within themselves. And we do have a lot of chapter events and activities planned out so that our members are always involved and actively participating in FBLA outside of their normal competitive events. And Sheil, if you'd like to add on to that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's just kind of hard when you have a lot of members to actually make an impact on the individual level. But what we try to do with managing a large chapter is try and have that individual impact. So we have like opportunities to have one-on-one sessions with competitors who need help, or providing community service hours, or just stuff like that. So we can kind of get that smaller chapter impact, even when we have so many members even when we have so many members and so little leadership and people comparatively to other chapters might have.
That's really cool to hear about how even though you're a really large chapter, you still try and create those individual connections with members, because I come from a relatively smaller chapter, and one of the things about being a smaller chapter is that you're able to create more connections with people on a one-to-one basis, and talk to members on a one-to-one basis, and even though that y'all have well about 400 members, you still try and create those one-to-one connections with members to make them feel included in the chapter. And I feel like that's a really cool initiative that y'all have placed into your chapter and its growth.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next question, what is something unique about your chapter?
Yeah. So one thing that I thought was really unique about our chapter, especially compared to these other large chapters that have decently sized officer teams, is that we're a really connected officer team, because we do a lot of bonding together, and we're more than just officers, we're also like friends. So we did like a Friendsgiving together. We're hoping to do a Secret Santa together after the break, because a lot of people are going on trips, but we just try and have a lot of opportunities to bond with each other and make sure that we are connected past just being like sort of colleagues, but being actual friends, which makes it more easy to actually function as a leadership team.
Yeah, like Sheil said, our chapter has a really strong sense of community spirit. So our chapter is very, very active in everything going on in FBLA, and we do have a lot of opportunities for members to make like a big impact, even though there's 400 of them. So we just recently had our World's Finest Chocolate fundraiser. So that was just an opportunity for members to get active in fundraising for the March of Dimes and stuff like that. And we also have like t-shirt designing contests. So many, many opportunities, like things normally reserved for officers. What makes our chapter unique is that we give members those opportunities to get involved in all aspects of FBLA, whether it be community service, competitive events, membership, etc. And yeah.
Yes, I remember. I follow on my FBLA account. I follow y'all's chapter account, and I remember seeing that recruitment video that y'all made. It was just
Yes.
it was just really cool. Like it was like a real, like y'all's marketing is just like top definitely like y'all's like like community spirit
Yes.
and stuff. It's just really there. And the like with the Secret Santa idea too, like I feel like that's like a really great way to be able to create more bonds within your chapter officer team, so that when you're leading the chapter it goes a lot smoother. So I just really think it's y'all's marketing is just
Yeah, that
a little like Denmark FBLA lore based on that. We actually made that video completely from scratch, filming it in 1 hour before our first FBLA meeting, and posted it. So that was kind of like crazy that we were off, but it got a really hit.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show that, like, even though we're a relatively new chapter compared to other schools, like it's only our 5th year, we do have an established sense of FBLA spirit, whether it be our like SLC spirit day. So Denmark FBLA is always like very strong when it comes to engaging with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, and also just like the effort of our officer team, that I really thought they put a lot of hard work into making that so quickly and such good quality in that time as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, y'all filmed that video in hour
and edited
too.
Yeah.
No way. That video was straight fire. That video was especially
yeah.
That was straight.
I don't even know.
So moving on to our next question. So I remember you Christy mentioning that your chapter has around 400 members in it. So because as you said, this is around your 5th year being an established chapter in Georgia FBLA, what is the key to recruiting members and keeping them engaged, besides that fire video that y'all made?
Oh yeah, in addition to the fire video that we made, our VP of membership, so that's one of the officer positions we have, really spearheads those efforts. So when school kicks off, so that's August, we have our rush week, which I know colleges, they have that's like their fraternity sorority week. So for us, our rush week is trying to recruit as many members into FBLA as possible. So we have all sorts of events throughout that week to make sure members are engaged, they're getting their friends to join FBLA and stuff like that. And then once they become members, it's also very important that we have that member retention. So keeping those numbers throughout the year and making sure we're not seeing drops in member engagement. And so a lot of that is through providing lots of opportunities for members to get involved. Like I said earlier, with the various fundraising and community service efforts we do, we also have different committees for our members if they're really into photography and they want to be our media man, or if they're really into like coming up with projects for our chapter, they can join that committee. And then in addition, FBLA partners with competitions and organizations like Intuit and stuff like that. So our Intuit social innovation challenges, those are something we push out to our members. And then in addition, in big days for FBLA, so American Enterprise Day, November 15th. In previous years, we've had essay writing competitions. So we always have something for our members to do outside of, the traditional competitive event sphere to keep them engaged within our chapter.
Yeah, and adding on to that specifically for recruiting members, what we like to try and do is we try and show like the cool aspects of FBLA outside of just it being some sort of competition where it's just like purely academic and stuff. So like you notice in the video, we didn't just make it like all informational, how FBLA can help you with their college apps. We showed like, it's a lot of fun. You get to go to conferences, you get to go travel with your friends and stuff like that. And then we also show cool things like every time we have a club, like during the club rush week, we'll bring out all of the medals, trophies, everything that we have and bring that out and show the members. And I think that's like plays a key role in recruiting members by just showing like how cool FBLA is, not just as something that can help you like professionally, but also just be a fun experience for your high school career.
Those are some really great strategies and initiatives that y'all use to recruit members. I can definitely like relate to what you said about kind of like showing the cool parts of FBLA. One thing that my chapter did last year that was really successful with us in recruiting more members was that we kind of capitalized off of fall leadership rally, as well as that year we were going to go to National Fall Leadership Conference in Orlando. So we kind of did this contest where it was like if you recruit 10 members, you get put into a raffle to get a free registration to either fall rally or National Fall Leadership Conference. And so kind of like showing those cool aspects of FBLA, that it's not just, some really professional organization aimed at just competitions, but it's also a way for you to be able to network and meet new people and go on trips. I feel like that definitely is a really good strategy to recruiting members, and as I've seen, it's worked really well with Denmark FBLA.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, the raffle idea. We've also done that in the past. And I think it's also really cool that you have members going to the National Fall Leadership Conference. It's only our 5th year, so we haven't been able to do that yet. So I think it's really cool that you have the opportunity for your members. As far as Denmark representation goes, if we have a state officer, then we'll send them, but that's about it. So hopefully in upcoming years, we can provide that opportunity to our members like you do.
Yes, absolutely. National Fall Leadership Conference was really an unforgettable experience. So I really hope that your chapter will be able to experience that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So moving on to our last question, describe your favorite FBLA memory or moment that you've been able to live through your time in FBLA.
That's a good question. There's so many to choose from. I guess maybe just winning chapter of the year. That was a really exciting moment for us, because it's not like we knew 100% beforehand we were going to win it. And then just like being with our chapter and like hearing the other chapters be called before us was like a really like exciting moment. And like you can just remember like your heart beating and stuff like that. So that was a really cool moment of like doing it with other people in our chapter as well.
Yeah, the anticipation was killing everyone, and it was like when we won, like our entire chapter like was like jumping up and down. Like there was like the kids that usually like they aren't like that hyped up about FBLA, but for the first time they have like that Denmark pride. Like, oh my god, that's so crazy! We beat South and Lambert. Like those are the traditional winners of chapter of the year. So it was just a really crazy time. Everyone was in shock. But yeah, that was also a really good memory. Just to be different from Sheil, I guess I had to pick a different one. I think, just the first, whenever someone asks me to recall like an FBLA memory, I think back to like my first most vivid FBLA memory. So when my journey really started, I was at SLC in 7th grade. And that was when I won first place for elevator speech. And I remember that morning when I was competing in that event, number 1, I was late, incredibly late for my event. It was like personal transportation. It was a weird situation, but I got there an hour later, so an hour after my event was called, and so my advisor had to negotiate with everyone to like let me in. So they did let me in finally, and I remember I was like so stressed. I was like 12 years old, so like when they asked me questions, I started crying. I was crying answering those questions. Like, they're asking like because elevator speech is about like advertising the March of Dimes. So they're like, why do premature babies matter to you? And then I'm like bawling talking to them about like why babies matter to me. And I was like, okay, no way I'm placing. And I just remember being on that stage and like moving up to first place and like being in utter shock, because I was sobbing in front of the judges. So it made absolutely zero sense that I won. And I think that was just like divine intervention at that point. Like it's truly FBLA that gave me that confidence at such a young age and realized the incredible leadership potential I had. So that was by far my most favorite FBLA memory.
Christy, I can like just I can like totally relate to you with at this past SLC. I did introduction to business presentation, and I was just a mess before going in. Like I could barely remember my script. I could barely remember my script that I had written a month before. Like I was just like a mess. I didn't know like what I was gonna do in like the presentation, and then I just got in there, and some of the pieces of the script came back to me, and the questions the questions that the judges were asking, like they were kind of like cutthroat, and I was like genuinely shaking in front of them, like, and I was like trying my best to like think of like some sort of like logical answer, like to say, like at that point I was just like yapping, and so like I got and so after that, like I found out that my school name was on the board, and I saw Dominic Mimbang, Introduction to Business Presentation, and I went up on stage, and my heart like was literally like like you know like when you're on stage and like your heart, it was just like pounding as I got to second place, and then my name was called for second place, and it was just an absolute surreal experience. Like I can definitely like relate to both of y'all. Both of those experiences that y'all had are truly amazing. I'm really glad that y'all were able to experience winning chapter of the year last year. I'm sure that it was like a really great memory for a lot of chapter members, and your chapter especially, and your chapter is just like really cool. It's just super cool, especially considering that it's your 5th year as an established chapter in FBLA, and you've already accomplished that much. Like that's just really cool.
Thank you. But yeah, I relate to what you're saying, like the whole being on stage. It feels like you're on America's Got Talent and they hit the golden buzzer when you're on that stage and they call your name. It's just like the most phenomenal like feeling ever, and I thank FBLA for that.
Thank you guys so much for coming on to this podcast and allowing me to be able to learn more about your chapter. I really appreciate it. Learning more about Denmark FBLA was really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely writing down some ideas of stuff that I could maybe implement. But yeah, y'all, especially that video, straight fire. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciated getting to learn more also about y'all, and yeah, I really hope to be able to see y'all at State Leadership Conference as well.
Of course.
Yes. We'll see you there.
Thank you guys so much, and to all of y'all watching, see you in the next episode.